hitting with 2 strikes, okay? Offensively, what we as coaches want is we want to put the ball in play. That's all we want. Now that translates, if you want to look at it from a glass half empty or a negative perspective, which we don't like to do, what that translates to is don't strike out. If you limit or eliminate your strikeouts, you'll be a successful team because you're going to put the ball in play and you're going to make the other team beat you. Striking out is beating yourself, okay? It's beating yourself. And so what we term it as is we want to put the ball in play. Offensively as a team, I want to put the ball in play. As I get better, I'm going to put the ball in play with a little bit more pop to it, okay? Maybe find some gaps. Maybe move some runners up. And then you start playing the game at a little bit higher level, a little bit more advanced level, okay? So we want to put the ball in play, okay? Here's your first rule to putting the ball in play and avoiding strikeouts, okay? You strike out on what strike? Third strike, okay? Listen to this. You can't strike out if you don't get strike 2, right? If you always have 1 strike on you or no strikes on you, can you strike out? No. So revert back to your very first golden rule that I gave you, which is hammer the first ball you can get a barrel on. And if you miss that one, hammer the next one you can get a barrel on, okay? You can't strike out if you don't get strike 2. Okay? Hit earlier in the count if you're having trouble, or as a team, you want to try to put the ball in play. Okay? If you do get 2 strikes, and you'll get 2 strikes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Here's a little approach. You want to change, and what your coach should be saying, or other players, is 2-strike approach. Okay, let's 2-strike approach right now, which means you need to change your plan. You're going to do a couple of things, okay? Number 1, you are going to choke up, okay? Rocks in here? You're going to choke up. Choke up. More back control. That will feel lighter, okay? Those of you that hit the ball on the handle a little bit, when you get fooled or you fail, you hit the ball on the handle, you've just taken away 2 inches of your handle, okay? You have more barrel to work with, okay? Quicker, more barrel, less handle, all right? We're going to compensate for those 2 inches by scooting closer to the plate about 2 to 3 inches. So you choke up and you scoot up. That's rule number 1, okay? Choke up and scoot up. Actually, that's 2 rules, sorry. Choke up and scoot up, 2 rules, okay? The next thing you want to do is you need to change your plan a little bit, okay? And I'm going to tell you what pitchers are going to do. Pitchers are going to do 4 things to you when you get 2 strikes on you. And they will almost always, 99 times out of 100, will do one of these 4 things to you. And if you don't believe me, watch a baseball game, okay? Or pay attention and watch, you know, when you guys are playing your game. Pitchers do 1 or 4 things to you. The last thing, changing your plan, instead of my target, I choked up and I scooted up. Instead of my target being into the right center gap as my starting point, I want to hammer the ball right at the first baseman. If I get 2 strikes, I'm looking right at the first baseman. I want to pound that ball right at the first baseman. And the reason why is because of one of the 4 things that pitchers are going to do. If I'm a pitcher, okay, and I've coached pitchers in high school, and I tell them this. If I'm a pitcher and I get 2 strikes on the guy, the first thing I'm going to do to him is I'm going to go fastball extended. I'm not going to throw him a strike. I'm going to go fastball extended. Anything above my line of sight, I got to lay off. And you have to recognize it early, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't do it until I was a sophomore in college. I couldn't do it. In fact, my very first year in college, my freshman year in college, I would just swing and miss and swing and miss and swing. I would just strike out on that pitch all the time because I couldn't lay off of it, and I couldn't recognize it early enough, and I couldn't catch up to it, okay? So fastball above your eyesight or above your hands, whatever works best for you, you gotta lay off, okay? The other thing that they'll do to waste a pitch on you is they'll throw a curveball in the dirt, right? Okay? What about an off-speed pitch? Curveball or a changeup that starts slow, where's it finish? Starts slow, stays low. If it starts slow, leave it alone. Okay? Start slow, leave it alone. The last thing that they'll do, that's 3 things that you guys can all lay out. You're either going to hit it, bang, for a double. You're going to lay off for ball 1. You're going to lay off curveball in the dirt for ball 2. That's 3 things that you all should be successful at, right? The last thing that they're going to do, and it totally depends on the person, but they're going to try to paint you fastball inside corner, okay? Now I have scooted up 3 inches about, right? How much room between hitting me and the plate is there? Not much. Okay, so here's your rule on a pitch that's inside. If it's not going to hit you, it's strike three, and you have to do the best that you can. Okay, if it's not going to hit you, you've got to try to get your hands to it and fight it off. Do the best you can. Now remember, you're a little quicker. You choked up. You got a little more barrel in your hand, so you may be able to get there. Do the best you can and fight it off. Okay. Otherwise, if it's going to hit you, you need to think in terms of protecting yourself. I'm going to swing, 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 and it's in a little bit too far. I need to protect myself, and that's, I just got out of jail. 2 strikes, hit by pitch, I can go to first base. Those are 4 things that they'll do. They'll go fastball extended, they'll go upstairs, they'll go curveball in the dirt, or they'll try to paint you inside. And if he beats you inside and he throws it here and you let it go, or you swing and miss, you just have to tip your hat, okay? They beat you, okay? And that's fine. You screwed up by getting 2 strikes, okay? And you revert back to rule number 1. Hammer the first ball, you get a barrel, okay? Now, they throw you anything else. They go fastball for a strike, curveball for a strike, fastball down the middle, they miss a spot. Hammer, she should easily be able to pound that ball. Change up is just like an off-speed pitch. You're just waiting, you're looking away, you're waiting. Change up typically from a right-hander. Typically from a right-hander is going to be away, going to try to be low. Change up is just a slower fastball, just a slow pitch. Start slow, leave it alone. Otherwise, a change up is the same type of thing. If you throw the first strike, it's speeding up the barrel and you should be able to crush it. But you have to recognize, guys, you have to recognize low, strike, wait, okay? If you're in 2-strike approach and you're looking at the first baseman and you're looking to hammer it that way because you're taking away that fastball outside corner and you get change up and you do this, you're going to be out because you didn't wait, you didn't stay balanced. What is the first thing that you're doing? You got 2 strikes on you. What do you do? Rule number 1. Choke up. Rule number 2. Scoot up. Rule number 3. Look for the outside. You're targeting, one term is targeting at the first baseman, or you are looking for that fastball extended. Hunt that fastball outside corner. That's what you're hunting for. Fastball outside corner. If he gives it to you, you pound it. Okay? That's the 3rd thing that you're doing. And then understand the things that the pitchers will try to do. 4 things the pitchers will try to do with 2 strikes. What's 1? Curveball in the dirt. What's 2? Fastball inside, right? And the rules are, if it's inside, if it doesn't hit you, what are you doing? If it's not going to hit you, it's strike 3. You better swing. You just scoot it up. It's strike 3. Okay? It's not going to hit you. What if it's going to hit you? Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Be safe. We want you to be safe. Safe on first base. Okay? What's another one?
Fastball extended.
Ball in the dirt. Fastball extended. Okay? And that's the one that they'll do most. Fastball extended. Ball in the dirt. We have fastball in. Upstairs. Okay? And it's above your eyesight, your line of sight, leave it alone, or above the hands, you gotta let it go, okay? A couple other things, okay, just reviewing just kind of in general. Number 1, hammer the first ball you can get the barrel on, right? Be a hitter. Hammer the first ball you can get a barrel on. Number 2, you need to have a plan. What are you looking for? What pitch are you looking for? What zones are you looking for? You need to know. If your coach stops you and says, what are you looking for? You need to be able to tell him, fastball middle away. That's what I'm looking for, okay? You shouldn't, I don't know, I'm just hitting, okay? That's not a good enough answer because then we can do a lot of stuff, and if you're just hitting, you're just going to swing at everything. You're up there with a purpose. You have a plan. I'm looking fastball middle away. That's what I'm looking for. Doesn't mean that's all I'm swinging at, right? It just means that's what you're looking for, okay? 2-strike approach. Have a 2-strike approach. One of the things that I saw when I coached kids that were undisciplined is they did not want to choke up. They did not want to scoot up. They wanted to do it their way. Okay, what you're doing is you are putting the pitcher in a position where, hey, you can get me out, but you're not getting me out in. Go ahead and try that in. If you miss, you're going to hit me, I'm on first base. Okay? If you want to throw it up, I'm not going to swing at it. If you're going to throw it in the dirt, I'm not swinging at that either. So what you do is you start to narrow down for the pitcher and say, hey, if you want to get me out, you better throw it as hard as you can outside corner. That's the only way you're going to get me out. And then when he does, boom, you're on it. Okay? What you're trying to make him do is you're trying to make him do none of that other stuff is going to work, buddy. If you want to get me out, you can pipe it right here. That's your only hope. Okay? If you don't force the pitcher's hand and you stay off the plate, hey, throw me whatever you want. Now you have to hit everything. He can come in, okay, without fear of hitting you. He can throw it low. He can throw it up. You may or may not be on that or be able to lay off those pitches, okay?